there! Welcome to Story Sell Your Brand with Gigi Barnett, where we show business owners how to do their own public relations and get their names in the media. Today, we're talking about facing fear. You know, the kind that rears its ugly head in your business or career. We're sitting down with a small business owner who unveils the story of how they got past it and made an impact. Story Sell Your Brand starts now. Hi, everybody. I'm Gigi Barnett. Welcome to Story Sell Your Brand, where we help service-based business owners do their own public relations. I'm so glad that you decided to join us for our 5-day summit on crushing fear. And all this week, we're unveiling small business owners who have faced the fear in their business and in their career. And you know what that means, in their lives. And we're finding ways to crush it or simply to work around it. We're putting this virtual summit on all of our platforms, our YouTube channel, our website, and on our podcast, so it's easy for you to find. I decided to do this because starting a business was next to having a baby and getting married and doing 20 years of TV. It was one of the hardest things I have ever had to do in my life and the most scariest. And you know what? Some days I'm still not over the fright. So much of this is going to be me learning and you coming along for the ride. Our guest on this episode is Jasmine Adams-Monk. She is the founder of Jasmine & Co. Jasmine is founder of Jasmine & Co. and it's an online business management company that has a team of phenomenal virtual assistants who provide endless support with the goal to create business solutions for your business. Jasmine's efficient and creative mind has helped many business owners grow their companies by simply taking care of the tasks that allow them to free up their time and focus on growth. She also hosts a radio segment on the Tribe radio show called In the Know with Jasmine & Co. One interesting fact about Jasmine, she is a competitive bowler, and I wanted to talk about her on that alone. Jasmine is one business owner who is moving up really fast and seeing a lot of growth in her business, and that's why we wanted to include her in the summit. Jasmine, good day. How are you?
I'm good, Gigi. I'm really excited to be here. I really am.
Good. I was telling you how I came across your name, and you were on a publication that I had read, and there were all these faces of women who were movers and shakers, and there you were. And you had a young face, and I was like, who is she? What is she doing? And so I started doing more research on you, and I was just like, she's amazing, and I want her in the summit. So give us some background on Jasmine & Co. How did you develop it? What was going on in your life that you said, yeah, I need to start this business?
Absolutely. So again, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here. So my story is really simple, not really simple, but pretty much I was a stay-at-home mom. So I have my bachelor's, I have my MBA, and my husband and I, we had a trucking company at the time, and I had my oldest daughter, and I was like, you know what, like it has to be more to life than me being a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted something for myself. And so I took my skill set, years of administrative and managerial experience, along with what I absolutely love to do, which is to help people. And so I did a lot of research, and I honestly came across the virtual assistant industry. And so I did a lot of and I was like, you know what? I was like, this seems pretty neat. This seems like where I need to be. And sure enough, I haven't turned back, and here we are 2 years later. I started Jasmine & Co. I built my website. I did some aggressive marketing to get clients, and I was very upfront with the clients, the prospective client, and letting them know that we all know that the virtual space is a little bit different. If you're not in it, it's certain systems and tools that we use. You guys know, those of you that are watching, you understand what I'm saying. And so I didn't have experience with a lot of those systems and tools. So I was very transparent about that up front. And fortunately, there were quite a few people that gave me a chance because I told them I was a quick learner, and I was just willing to, put myself out there, whatever I needed to do to learn and make it happen. And it pretty much just has evolved from there in just these 2 short years. It honestly feels like it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
And so here we are today, basically.
When I hear, virtual assistant, I think, okay, it's somebody answering the phones, but it's more than that. So what exactly are you doing to help these, because you've mastered it now. So what are you doing to help these
Yeah.
business owners kind of free up their time?
Sure. Yeah. Our main platform is, helping small business owners become more productive and efficient in their business. And the way that we do that is we take the administrative and marketing tasks off their hands. So when you think about anything administrative, that can be data entry, that can be appointment setting, that can be taking phone calls, that can be content creation, literally anything that falls under that umbrella, we take care of that, as well as on the marketing side, social media, newsletters, blogs, building funnels, website revamps and creating websites, pretty much any digital, anything on the digital marketing side, we handle that as well. And so what, business owners have really realized is, wow, just, some of them, they may only do 5 hours a week, which is fine. I tell them, start where your budget will start where your budget will allow you to start. And if they do like 5 hours a week, like what they see the difference. And, I also do consulting as well. I consult on this all the time, people that are wanting to expand their team and they're ready to take their business to the next level. So I'm talking about outsourcing and what it looks like. But it's funny because when I'm talking to business owners, one thing that I've noticed, over the last year, I would say, is when they hear outsourcing, they just think large businesses, large corporations. Right. And I'm like, no. Yeah. I was like, you can do this in your business. And honestly, this is going to be one of the key factors to help you take your business to the next level. You should be working on your business, not in your business. You should be able to run your business, build those relationships, and be the face of your business and be the true visionary and things like that. And so that's pretty much our platform. And we've been able to help tons and tons of business owners do that. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
So two things come to mind because, when you have these business owners and they have you come alongside them, I can only imagine that with you helping them, that takes, the load off. So the overwhelm is gone, but the fear is gone because they have someone kind of in the ring with them, Have you seen that? Right. Have you seen that kind of, I guess maybe where you're allaying fears for them as well?
Absolutely. I've had, most clients, some had worked with VAs before, some hadn't. Some had never had a team before, as in with their own business. So they may have, worked for Exxon and had a whole team of 15 people. But when you have your own business, it is way different. We're responsible for setting everything up. It's hard and it's a lot, and it's trust because it's your baby. You've been doing everything. You're the entrepreneur. You've been wearing 50 hats. You do the sales. You do the client work. You do business development. You do the marketing. You're doing it all. And to hand over pieces of that or, all of it to, and outsource it to somebody else, it is tough. Mm-hmm. And so, that's the part where I explain that when you really want to take your business to the next level, you have to get out of that comfort zone. You have to, face your fears and you have to get out there and try it. And I will say this, some people, they get a virtual assistant that's like a perfect match for their business and it's great. Or for some others, it may take a couple of times to really find that person that's a true fit. Not saying that the tasks won't get done, but you have to look at, at personalities and working relationships too. So I would definitely keep that in mind if you're looking to, bring someone on soon.
I'm glad you brought that up because so you and your husband had a trucking business. So you were already in business when you started your business. So did that make it more comfortable for you to start your own business when you say, okay, I want something of my own? Were you more comfortable in that space or less so because you were kind of branching out from your husband?
I was more comfortable because I was in my element. My husband, I did more of the administrative, things like that. And I had to learn trucking. He went to school, he got his license, like he knew like the back of his hand. So a lot of things on his side, like he, as far as our drivers and him driving, I didn't understand or know most of that. It's just a lot of paperwork that's involved and I was responsible for a lot of that. So yeah, me branching out on my own was like the best decision ever. And he supported me on it from the beginning. And so I'm so happy because he still does trucking. I do my thing. Sometimes we mix and mingle with it, but I just have my own thing that I can call mine and I'm comfortable with it. I love talking. I love helping business owners. Like I truly believe I am where I'm supposed to be.
So then where did your fear come from? Because here you are, you're in your element, you know business. What were you most hesitant? Where were you feeling the most trepidation in starting Jasmine & Co.?
Yeah. I think the fear of success. I think that's a lot of people's fear is the unknown, I guess. You're kind of branching off, and we kind of had everything mapped out for that trucking business because, you know, we were ready for it before we even had our first daughter. We were ready for it. We had things ready to go. And with Jasmine & Co., not at all. I mean, me starting it, like I started from nothing, from scratch. I had to scrap and hustle and learn everything on my own. And it was very tough. And I just didn't know where roads would take me. I was scared that if I got too much work, what do I do? You know, scaling. That's one thing that happened to me. I like to tell this story is within 6 months, like I grew so quickly, I had to bring on, you know, contractors of my own and scale, but I didn't do it the right way. I didn't crunch my numbers. I didn't plan and map everything out because A, I didn't make time for it, and B, I kind of didn't really know what I was doing with it. It was a little bit different than the trucking company, way different. And so I did it wrong. And so what happened was I ended up losing money on the back end. And after that, I pretty much cut a lot of my clients off at the time and just spent that time rebuilding. And so, yeah, that was like about a year ago.
Wow.
And so here I am today, you know, built. And yeah, it was pretty, like 2018, I spent rebuilding, putting processes in place, making sure that what happened would not happen again once we got to that point of, you know, growth and all of that good stuff. So,
wow. So I said at the beginning of the show that you are growing fast, and you were growing fast, and, you know, getting a lot of attention. And so this first 6 months, here you are getting all this attention. And so you mentioned, you know, I had to scale back, but when you saw that coming, you know, like the onslaught, the growth, and that fear of success, what was that like?
Scary. I was just like, it might, like, when you start a business, you just never know if you can meet the right person and you get that one account and blow up tomorrow. You don't know. And that was kind of it. I had all of these clients, you know, and I was aggressive. Like, Facebook has been my hub. It's been great to me. 80% of my business has come from Facebook. Wow. And that's for me being aggressive on it, networking in the different groups, and they've come from all different groups. And so, the other 20 to 25% have come from referrals. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, it was scary because I'm like, I have all these clients. I don't have my processes in place. I probably I know I didn't have all my numbers right. You know, I had a spreadsheet, was trying to keep up with everything. It was a lot. Yeah. And with me doing everything, you know, I brought on a team, they were doing client work. So I was still trying to get everything together. Like, it was a lot, and it was very scary. And so sometimes I feel like that has to happen for you to learn a lesson, right? For you to take that next step is for something like that to happen. And, you know, I'm glad that it did, because 2018, it allowed me to get everything ready to go so that this year, you know, as we're growing, which we're growing at a rapid rate yet again, I've been able to expand my team, but I have things in place. I have processes in place. I know my numbers, just everything. It's just way different. So I'm really glad that I experienced that, you know, honestly, when I did.
Wow. I mean, because, you know, most people say to grow quickly. I mean, that's a great problem to have, right? But you're like, right. No, it's not a great problem to have if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
So now you have those systems that personally, did it spill over? You know, like were you, did having all that work, I'm sure it affected your family in some way. Were there fears associated with that? Because mine is always like, I'm not going to have enough time to spend with my kids. That's my problem. Is I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough time to spend with my kids. So what and my husband too. I got to say, I was like, wait, you didn't say me. I'm not going to have enough time to spend with my family. Then did that, you know, did those fears kind of seep over into that area as well?
Yes. So my husband was gone. He traveled a lot. So it's just me and baby girl. And she was home with me while I was starting this journey. So I left that out. So amongst all these things going on with Jasmine & Co., it's a fresh business. I'm trying to figure it all out. My daughter was home with me, and she was not even 1 at the time. It was hard. She was mobile. So it's not like I could just sit her down for a second. No, she was mobile. She got out of her gate. She was crawling, starting to walk. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It was tough. Sometimes I felt that I'm like, I really need to give her time. So I tried to balance my day, and I was very upfront with clients. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. My daughter's here. So sometimes calls had to be rearranged. I tried to, with kids, you never know. So I was like, okay, she's taking a nap at 11. I have this call at 11:30. It never worked out that way. And so that was very tough as well. Very, very, very tough. And then, my husband and I were still trying to do the trucking as well. So it was a lot going on in our household at that time.
Yeah. I heard, I love the fact and fiction of what our fears say about us. And I saw this, a meme the other day, somebody had written, and it was something like, fear has two meanings. It can either mean face everything and run, or face everything and rise. And I'm sure I'm butchering that, but it was, that approach. And so I'm always curious, because we know, that fear really means false evidence appearing real. So, you have these fears about, oh my gosh, the onslaught is going to take me out, and if that is indeed fiction, it's not fact. So we can take kind of the reverse of that. What is the truth? What is the fact about you that your fears really say? What do you think it is?
That's a good question. I've never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have to think on that one. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. We come back to that one.
Yeah, we can come back. I'm always, I'm like, okay, if fear is a liar and I don't believe anything that it says, and it's really distorting the truth, it's really just distorting fact, then the opposite of what it's saying is really the fact about me. We can come back to that. So then the lessons that you learned to conquer those jitters, to conquer that trepidation, that fear, what were they?
Pretty much just, have a plan, map everything out. It sounds so cliche, but it's not. It's very true. Have everything together, network, and have a mentor. At the time, I just didn't think about pursuing one. But I think when you kind of venture off on your own, and especially, when you're starting your own business, and especially in the virtual space that we're in, it's just very important, because I'm not going to the office every day and seeing people. So it can, get depressing. It can get lonely. You can feel like you're on the journey on your own. So, definitely reach out and make what I call some business besties. I have a few. And so we're able to just talk. I can talk about things that's going on in my business. Hey, can you take a look at this? This is something I'm wanting to roll out, later next month, things like that. It's just really important to have a network of people besides your family, and your local friends, someone that is probably in the space or similar to what you're doing. And just map everything out, have a plan, and also try to get a mentor as well that can kind of help you through the process, that has been there, that is probably where you would, where you desire to be someday. They've been through everything that you're probably about to go through, and they can help guide you.
Yeah. That mentor piece is really overlooked, or, a coach or someone who you can bounce ideas off of and really get their undivided attention, but also their objective, opinion. And
Exactly.
who can really tell you, and who won't be a yes person, who can really say, yeah, go ahead and do it. And when you shouldn't, will say, don't do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to know, because what we do at Story Sell Your Brands, we help business owners do their own public relations. And it seems as if you're doing a little bit of that yourself with your radio segment. You're on the radio on the Tribe Show. So tell me, how did you get involved in that? And what kind of boost are you seeing to your business because of it?
Sure. Honestly, it's just me. One of my business friends, she makes fun of me. She's like, Jasmine is like on Facebook. It doesn't matter what time of the day, she's always on. And it's true, because a lot of my business, comes from there. And I have a lot of, I've made a lot of friends on there. So I get free advertising from it. But long story short, I saw this post because I'm always looking to create more visibility and exposure, not just for me, but for my brand. So however I can do that, Facebook Lives, podcast interviews, however I can get myself out there. And if it's a fit, then I would love to do it. So I saw a post that they were seeking a host for a radio show. And I'm like, and I've been wanting to kind of get into speaking lately. I'm like, oh, is God sending me this? Yeah. So I reached out and we had a conversation. Yeah. And they told me more about, what it was. And I was like, this is perfect for me. I was like, it will only help polish and sharpen me more with what I'm trying to do, as well as me, able to share information and resources with small business owners, which I'm really big on, because if we don't support each other, how will we continue to grow, as an industry, as small business owners, and everything else. Like, I want to have guest speakers to come on and share their expertise, and it's really helped my business. I've gotten exposure, people reaching out from, other countries. So I've worked with clients and I've had contractors in other companies as well, but people reaching out to me is pretty awesome. And I'm like, oh, wow, where'd you see me? Oh, the Tribe Radio. This is your segment. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, did you hear what I said? We started having a conversation about what we talked about that day. And it's just really, really neat. So I definitely have seen, I've only been doing it a few months now, but it's been wonderful. And I host it every other Tuesday for about 30 minutes to an hour. And it's great. I love it so much. I never thought I would be doing that, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
And I'm intrigued by the fact that you just jumped all in. Many of our clients who, we say, hey, you need to, social media has its place. And in your marketing plan, it clearly has its place, and you can't do business nowadays without it. But the flip side of traditional, that mainstream media, that needs to be done too. And I think a lot of business owners, they kind of want to sit behind their computers and just kind of type all day and just, kind of remain anonymous. And it's like, get out there, put your face out there, and it's not that. So it seems that you had no fear linked to this radio show at all.
A little bit. I didn't know what to expect. I mean, me hosting a show and talking, hey, this is Jasmine, your host. I had never done that before. I mean, as I tell people, like, I don't mind talking in front of a large group of people. I've done it a long time, but I'm still nervous when I get up there. I'm like, do I have everything together? Do I look okay? Like, I still have that, pep talk, that self-talk. So, but I had a few fears, but I was like, you know what, if this is for the betterment of the business and myself personally, I had to overcome that fear. It was a fear. I will say it was a fear, but I just did it because I knew it needed to be done. So I put myself out there, and now everybody's like, oh my gosh, you sound so great. Have you been doing this for years? I'm like, definitely not. Yeah. It's only been a few months.
Yeah. I mean, and that's I think another lesson too, is that just do it. Just whatever it is that you're feeling afraid of, it again, that might be, the motivator of that fear is just, I see fear, I feel it, and I'm just going to do it afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, and then just kind of let the jitters work themselves out. When in television, when we talk about, having that nervous energy, it actually works for you. Just having a little bit of it gives you that energy, that boost. It's going to make you look alive. You're not going to look deadpan, or you're not going to sound deadpan, but it's going to make you sound alive, which is actually more attractive to people. People like to hear that energy in your voice. And what they don't realize is that some of that is coming from the jitters, the nervousness, just a little bit of fear.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So you kind of have to use it to your advantage. I'm just, like I said, I was telling one of our team members that I said, everybody else I know there who's on this summit, they're going to have, it's going to be fears related to their business in terms of, kind of growing it. But I was like, Jasmine is going to be like our fear of success. It's going to be like that fast growth, that part of this whole equation of the fears that we deal with, because she actually has a business that's growing so quickly, and there are definitely some details and fears that we don't think of when we're starting businesses or when we're growing those businesses. So
absolutely.
This has been awesome talking to you. I just want to take a quick moment and turn to folks who are listening, because you heard Jasmine, and she's getting her name out there through her radio show, and that's exactly how we want to end this interview with her, because we're doing this summit because, in part, many of our new consultations, our new clients, they are afraid to do television. They're afraid to do radio. They're afraid to put their face out there. And it's understandable. Public speaking, it is still the number one fear nationwide, behind fear of heights and snakes and bugs. We get it.
Yeah.
But we have seen and worked with so many people over the years who basically eliminated this fear. Because the way you crush it, or the way you work around it, as I mentioned, is to just do more public speaking, And people say, I don't like the way I sound, exactly. I don't like the way I look, or I'll botch the media interview, or the imposter syndrome takes over, where they say, oh, I'm not the expert that people think that I am, when really they are. And those are all valid reasons. But if you're going to use those excuses not to grow your brand, not to put your face out there, well, then you're going to miss the visibility. You're going to miss the exposure when it comes to facing that, that you can get when it comes to facing that, So if this is you, if you're watching this summit, or if you're listening to this virtual summit on our podcast, and you want more media exposure for your business, the kind of visibility that moves the needle and that grows your business the way Jasmine is seeing, we want to talk to you. Right now, our calendar we're going to open it up for you. So head over to storysellyourbrand.com. And over the next 2 weeks, we're going to open up our calendar for free calls, free consultations. We'll talk about your visibility goals for your business, and your media plan, and how you're getting your name out there, and then a really good plan to boost that. Jasmine, it was awesome talking to you. Thank you for spending your time with us. If folks want to work with you, if they say, she's right, I need a virtual assistant, I cannot do this alone, how do they get in contact with you?
Sure. Again, thank you for having me. I hope you guys, I like to tell my stories, because I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did. And I really don't believe in reinventing the wheel. You don't have to do that. But I would love to chat. I love to talk. And as you can tell, I'm very, very passionate about everything we talked about today. You can find me at jasmineandco.org, or on Facebook and Instagram. The tag is the same, at Jasmine and Co Team.
All right. And remember, she's always on Facebook, right? They can probably just drop you a line there, right? Jasmine, thank you so much. And I wish you so much more continued success in the rest of the year and beyond.
Thank you so much, Gigi. I appreciate it so much.
All right. And thank you for joining us as well. I'm Gigi Barnett. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Story Sell Your Brand. And you can head over to storysellyourbrand.com. You want to click on those notification buttons so you can get fresh new posts from us every week. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later. Thank you for joining us on storysellyourbrand.com. Bye-bye.